Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2020 CODiE Award Judge Info Session. We'll go ahead and get started here in just a minute. There are still a number of people joining. So I am your host, Jenny Baranowski, and I'm the Awards Director here at SIA, and I'll be the host of today's webcast. So during this call, we'll be covering the CODiE Awards background and what this is all about, what's new, the judging timeline, expectations, the judging portal, so you can get a deep dive into what you'll see starting next week, tips to a great judge experience, then we'll have some time for Q&A. So I have some questions coming through on the chat box about audio. If you're having any trouble with the audio, maybe dial in through phone, or you can, if you didn't dial in through the computer, you can try it that way, but you should hear some. Great. And so for housekeeping items, as I mentioned, all of the lines are currently muted, and so if you need to ask questions, make sure to utilize that chat box in the lower left-hand corner of your screen. It looks like there are a number of people using it now, so thank you for that. I am the only person running this call, so if I don't get to I'll wait to take questions until the end, but if it makes sense to answer one that I see along the way, then I'll do it that way too. So please do utilize that chat box, and I'll make sure to get to your questions at some point throughout the webcast. And then if you have any questions after we conclude, then feel free to just shoot me an email. It's listed here on the screen. You can also find it on the SIA CODiE Award website, which is sia.net/CODiE. That's where you would have gone to apply to be a judge. So you can find me there and LinkedIn and all of that good stuff. So I'm also recording this webcast, so if you miss anything or you want to share it with a colleague, I will send the recording to all of the judges that have already nominated, and then of course everyone on this call, so you can always get the recording that way. So let's go ahead and dig in here. So what is a CODiE Award? 2020 marks the 35th anniversary of the CODiE Awards, which is pretty mind-blowing. And with such a long-standing tradition of excellence, we've honored thousands of products in both the education and business technology space. So what makes the CODiE Awards truly unique is that each nominated product receives 2 rounds of review. The first is what we call the expert review, which is why you all are here, and the second is a peer review by SIA members, and that's a much quicker review. So during that first review, each product entry is assigned to 2 industry experts, and that includes many of you that are on this call, to conduct an in-depth evaluation of the product. Because it's such a thorough review, the first round accounts for 80% of the overall CODiE Awards score. So each judge scores the product against a set of category-specific judging criteria, which we'll go over in detail later. And the products that have the highest scores advance as finalists. We do this just to ensure that all of the products, regardless of company size, can compete fairly in the same category without bias. We also share the judging criteria on our website, so nominees know exactly what you, the judges, will be looking for, and they can tailor their demo to those criteria and really highlight those areas. And then, so that first round judges provide written feedback on each of the products, which is sent to the nominees as soon as the finalists are announced on March 30th, and then after that, we move into that second round of peer review, which is, as I mentioned before, a very quick review process in comparison to the first round. And then this year, all the winners are announced May 18th and 19th in San Francisco. So I'll make sure to share the details on both of those with all of you. If you happen to be in San Francisco and would like to attend, you're more than welcome to, but I'll also make sure that it's simulcast, and we'll share that link with all the judges so you can tune in that way too. So anyway, that's the quick overview on what the CODiEs are all about. And then what's new this year? So each year a team of experts meets, and that includes many of you, our fantastic judges, to review the categories and the criteria that we offer and suggest new categories and make changes to existing categories for the next year's cycle. So I wanted to just take a moment to extend a big thank you to the judges that have helped craft and revise the categories that we offered this year, and really work on hashing out the judging criteria so it makes the most sense. And then if you're interested in being part of that category review team, just let me know, and you can shoot me an email, and then I'll notify you when we do that process again next summer. So listed here on the screen are the new categories in 2020, and you can read more about them on the CODiE Award website. If there are any of these that are appealing to you that you haven't raised your hand to judge, just shoot me an email, and I can try and include you as a judge on one of these as well. But we do get a surplus in certain categories. So I'm getting a couple of people asking questions about not being able to hear and things like that. So if that happens, just I would recommend logging out and then re-logging back on. And all the lines are muted. Okay, so let's continue on. So why people judge? People judge the CODiE Awards for a number of reasons, but the most common ones are that judging allows you to take a peek under the hood of today's top technologies. That's kind of the biggest reason people come to me and tell me they want to judge. They also gives you an opportunity to learn about industry trends and where products in the market are headed, and some of the really cool new features available. So that's super exciting to see and really experience those changes firsthand. It's also a great professional development tool. So being a judge allows you to be part of a community of fellow technology and education experts. So again, it keeps you up to speed on products that are currently on the market. And another thing that you can do is actually add the judging experience to your resume and your LinkedIn profile. So you can do that as part of your, volunteer work and things like that. So that's just a nice little professional development piece to this. And then by completing your judge review, you play a key part in improving products, and that's mostly through the feedback that you're offering to all of the nominees. So the nominees actually use that product feedback when they're developing future versions of their product. We've actually started to see a lot of the nominees starting to use the feedback from their judges in their marketing and how they communicate with their customers as well. So that's a really cool thing that you can see that your feedback really does make a huge impact on these products and how they're shared. And then another thing is that this is a great community. We have a number of judges that participate in our LinkedIn group, and just through communications and things like that. Sometimes judges wind up on the same demos. And so it's a great way to just, again, connect with other leaders in the industry and know that you're part of this big group of people that are volunteering their time to make these improvements and see what the future holds for some of these really cool products in the industry overall. So now that you know why people judge, let's dive into the details a bit. So I am seeing a number of questions coming through, so thank you for that, and I will make sure to address the questions as we once we get to the Q&A of the webcast. So here's a quick overview of what to expect throughout the judge experience. So most of the people on the call have already applied and been approved as CODiE Award judges, so thank you for doing that. If you've completed your judge application and haven't received a confirmation from me, please just check your spam and make sure to whitelist my email. If you haven't completed the judge application yet this year, you do need to complete it every year. That's how you select your categories, your preferred categories. So if you haven't done that, we do have the judge application on the CODiE Award website. It's listed both on the home page and if you go to the judge tab. So if you haven't done that, go ahead and do so, and I'll work on approving you later today. So I will also add that we have a surplus of highly qualified judges. So right now I am in the process of assigning nominees to judges, but we can't always assign all of the qualified judges to the products. There's just, we get a lot of great judges that want to judge year after year, and unfortunately we can't pair everyone. So I will put that out there. We do select judges based on the order in which they come. You know, say you apply early, we assign those first. We also assign based on qualifications, and if we've gotten really great feedback from people on the judge experience with you if you've participated as a judge in the past. So we definitely look at that every year and assign based on that. So if I will say too, if I can't assign you products right away, don't despair. Things happen. So occasionally we have judges that are no longer able to participate. You know, say something comes up in their personal or professional life, or really anything. I mean, it just doesn't work in that time of year, whatever. I do have people, you know, vacancies become available. Same thing, conflicts of interest arise, and we have to swap out judges. So if I can't assign you right away, then I may be able to assign you products, you know, in a month or so, a month or maybe even closer to the end of judging. So please keep that in mind, that I may be reaching out later on if I can't assign them right away. So other things to expect. Just make sure you understand the responsibilities as a judge. This is located on our website, but you're on this call, so I'm happy to fill you in here. So as a judge, you'll be expected to evaluate up to 5 products in any one of your preferred categories. I try to assign fewer than 5 just because 5 products means 5 one-hour demos, and that can be pretty time-consuming. But I may have to assign 5, you know, especially if we don't have a lot of judges in any, you know, some of our really technical categories. We sometimes get a lower number of judges. So all demos are conducted virtually, and they take about 45 minutes to an hour apiece. So we do ask that you set aside a full hour of time for each demo. You know, it's okay if you take less time, but, you know, think of that more as you get some time back to your day. If a nominee tries to schedule demos longer than an hour, tell them that they have an hour of your time, and you feel free to get me involved. I'm more than happy to recommunicate that information to them. And then Another thing is demos can be conducted either live or via pre-recorded demo. So there's pluses and minuses to both. Most people would like to go with a live demo, and that's our preferred method. But occasionally there are language barriers that make it so a recording is much better. There's time zone differences. We have people, both judges and nominees, participating globally. So it can be really challenging to find a time that works. And especially on the education technology side, many of our ed tech judges are teachers, and it's really hard for them to participate in a 1-hour demo during the day because their priority is going to be in the classroom where it should be. So, we do ask people to be flexible with the times. Make sure that the timing for the demos works with your schedule, and communicate that with the nominees, and they'll work with you to find either a recording or a live demo in a time that works for you. So starting next week, the judge assignments will be available. So I'll send both you and the nominees an email just letting you know that the nomination or that the assignments have been made and that the judging has officially begun. So starting next week, nominees, if you are assigned products to review, the nominees will start reaching out to you next week to start scheduling demos. So I do ask that you be as responsive as possible in getting those demos scheduled. It can be, and make sure to let them know the times that work for you, as quickly as possible so you can get them on the calendars. Some nominees have, dozens of demos to schedule, so, and with only two months to get them done, it can be a challenge. So do try and communicate with them early and often. And one thing I'll also throw out is that occasionally nominees will try and schedule both of their judges on the same demo. That's completely fine with me, as long as it works for you as the judges. So, and I'll add that if one of the judges misses the demo at the time that it's been scheduled for whatever reason, just ask that the nominees continue on with the demo with the one judge, and then make sure that they record it, and that recording can be shared with the judge that had missed the live demo time. So that's just an FYI of something, some of the things that do come up. So, and then after each of your demo has concluded, what you'll do is you'll enter your judge dashboard, and we'll go over that in a couple slides, and complete your score sheet. And you'll just want to do that right away. So the score sheet will take about 15 to 20 minutes total or to complete. I do encourage you to take detailed notes during your demo, just in case you can't log in and log your scores right away. It's very easy to forget those details. I know I can't remember what I had for breakfast, so trying to think of what the details of a complicated product a couple weeks earlier can get pretty fuzzy pretty quickly. So that's a hot tip, is just remembering to take notes and then log your scores right away. And then another thing is we'll be going over the timeline in a slide or two, but the judging does take place starting next week, and all the judge scores are due March 13th. So do keep that in mind. It seems like a long time, but that time goes very, very quickly. So speaking of timeline, and then another thing I'll reiterate is that your scores are very, very important to the CODiE Awards process. As you can see, it accounts for 80% of a product's overall score. So your feedback matters a lot, and that's why we do ask the judges, if you've signed up to be a judge, really do take the time with the products that you've been assigned and put in some thoughtful feedback because it will count for 80% of the product's overall score and will play a key role in determining really who wins. So do keep that in mind. So listed on this page is the CODiE Award timeline, or the judging timeline. So as I've mentioned a couple times, the product assignments are going to be sent next week. It will likely not be on Monday, but probably closer to Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So do keep that in mind. If you don't receive any information from me next week, then make sure to check spam or shoot me an email, which I'll make sure to share with you. All of the demos should be completed on by February 20th, or they should at least be scheduled by February 20th. And really, that date is in there just to make sure that everything is moving along as it should be. So if you haven't received any kind of communication from your assigned nominees by that time, make sure to let me know as soon as possible because I'll need to intervene. There could be some kind of communication barrier happening. Maybe emails are going into spam or something like that. So I'm here to help. That's my job, and I'm usually able to get in touch with people really quickly. So do make sure to notify me if you haven't received any kind of communication at all from your nominees by that February 20th date. And I will ask them for recorded demos at that point too, just to make sure that we can get all the products evaluated by that March 13th deadline. And then, as I've mentioned, March 13th is the deadline for your nomination or your evaluations to be in. But I do recommend that you complete your scores right away. And really, that's it will be a huge benefit for you, but it also helps me see which products have been evaluated and which ones need some help. So again, it's I'll be checking in throughout the process. But if you log your scores, then I can at least see, okay, it looks like they have 75% of their demos done. Things seem to be moving along well, or that one we haven't started. Let me intervene. So just know you'll get more communication from me if you don't log your scores, because I'll be curious as to what's going on behind the scenes. And then the finalists are announced March 30th. So at that point, you'll be able to see which nominations become finalists, and then those finalists will move into the second round of review. And again, the winners are announced May 18th and 19th in San Francisco, and I'll make sure to get those live streamed. I will be sharing these slides after the webcast, so and we'll share all the dates so you guys can have all of this information available to you. So now for the meat and potatoes. So this is the judge portal. I've mentioned that you'll be getting your judge assignments next week, and what will happen is your judge assignments will be sent to you via a link in an email. Once you click on that link, you'll log in with the login information you use to complete your judge application. You'll get, this is the dashboard that you'll see. So you'll see the categories at the top of the page, so that this one says Best Business Intelligence Reporting and Analytics Solution. So that's the category that you've been assigned to judge. And then you'll see the nominee name. And then supporting information is the link that's underneath the nominee name, but it's also under that link to product information column. So you can see it in both places. And if you click on that link, you'll see the detailed information, including the product description, any additional information that the nominee shares with you, kind of as background information on the product. And then you'll also see the contact information for each of the nominees by category. So if you happen to be assigned more than one category to review, you'll see, for example, this one shows Best Business Intelligence Reporting and Analytics Solution and then Best E-Commerce Solution. So this particular judge had two different categories to choose from. And then the final column where it says vote, it'll either say vote or voted. These happen to be, this information was pulled after the scores had been in, but it'll just say vote instead of voted, and that's how you can tell if something has been logged. So now I'll show you what it looks like when you actually click on that vote button. You'll be taken to this this judge portal, this part of your judge portal. So this is the actual rubric, and as you can see at the top of the page is the category name. You have the product description, so you know that you're recording scores for the correct product. It does happen quite a bit where people will, think that they're recording, for one product, and they get to this page and they're like, oh shoot, I'm in the wrong product. So if you do start to record scores for the wrong product, just let me know, and I can ask that those scores get wiped for you, and you can start with a clean slate. So don't despair. And then you'll also see the judge guidelines. This is really important. So just guidelines to remember are that you're always judging products against the judging criteria and not against each other. So you might see five different products, but instead of being like that product was better than this one in this way and so on and so forth, remember to just stick with the judging criteria so we're evaluating on a level playing field. This has a 1 through 5 scale, but really it's 1 through 10 now, so that's a change for this year. And then if a criteria is not applicable, just skip over it. Don't assign, something in the middle because that will affect the overall score. So just skip any irrelevant or NA criteria. And then, as I've mentioned before, just make sure to be as detailed as possible in your written feedback. The nominees find this to be the most valuable part of the experience for them, so they really understand why they were scored a certain way. So we only use this rubric to actually evaluate the products. So the written feedback is just more of a way of explaining why you did what you did. So again, just be as detailed as possible throughout the feedback portion. And that you can't see on this screen what the feedback part of the form looks like, but we include fields for overall performance, the strengths, the weaknesses, and then give you an opportunity to just add any additional comments. If you don't have additional comments, you can leave that part blank, so no worries there. And then, that's it for the form. As I mentioned, it's pretty straightforward, but if you have any questions on it, just let me know. And then we'll move into some tips for a great judging experience. So these are kind of tried and true tips that I've collected over the years. If you have your own, feel free to share them in the Q&A box, and I'm happy to share them with the group for you. But the biggest thing is to start early, right? So as I mentioned, your nominees will start reaching out to you next week. But you'll have their contact information, and you're welcome to reach out to them first if you'd like to. You can introduce yourself and then actually share with them the times you're available for demos, so you kind of, get the ball rolling and can put out your preferred times. Some people like to do these, in blocks, so that's a good way to set the stage. And if you have any trouble reaching your nominees, either they haven't reached out to you or you're not getting a response from them, make sure to let me know. I'm always available, most of the time available via email or phone, and I can get through to people pretty quickly. So I'm happy to intervene, so don't be shy. And then set the stage for success by familiarizing yourself with the judging form and criteria. Make sure to review the information the nominees have shared with you via the portal in advance. This is really more intended as background information on the product, but at least it gives you a sense of what to expect. So, and then you can always ask the nominees after you see their demo for a recording of it, or if they, offer you product access. That's, oftentimes not available, but with some products it is. So if they're able to provide you access to the product to go in and play with it yourself, then that's another great way of getting to explore it and really understand the product. And then you can also ask them for any additional information you need after the fact, or if you need them to touch on one of the judging criteria that you missed or something like that. So another thing is to make sure to leave bias at home. So don't compare products. Many of the judges are experts in the space, so they've seen a lot of products in these areas. So until you see a demo, make sure that while you might have background in that area, don't assume you know everything about the product. Let them show you the demo, and if there's anything that needs clarification or certain features or things like that you really want to see, ask them. I'm sure that they'd be happy to show you more of what their product can do. So, and then again, just make sure to evaluate products according to the rubric. And one thing I'll also add, speaking of the rubric, is if judging criteria isn't resonating with you, either you don't understand what it's asking or you feel like the rubric information something's missing, let me know. Like, that's a crucial part of our judging experience, is making sure that rubric does actually bring the most qualified products to the winner circle, right? So make sure to, while you're taking notes on the products, make sure to take notes for me too and let me know. And then another thing is make sure, this goes without saying, but be professional. Everyone here is a professional, and the nominees are professionals too, and you know what it's like to work with someone who's prickly or something like that. It's not fair to you, and it's not fair to them. So just make sure to be professional in your communication and expect the same from them. If you experience something that's off-putting, just let me know. And again, I'm here to support you and to support the nominees. So just keep me informed and be as professional as possible in your communications with the nominees. Another thing is to obviously make sure you're prepared in advance. So most of the time, these webcasts and stuff like that, the platforms are pretty great, and you don't run into, access issues and stuff like that. But occasionally things come up. Technology works most of the time, and when it doesn't, it's the worst. So make sure to check out any of the technology in advance if you can. And again, check out the rubric to see what it is you'll be judging on. Take notes. Make sure to outline with the nominees when to expect the Q&A. It's better to take questions throughout, or if they want to save questions to the end, like we are today. Make sure to reiterate that they have an hour of your time, and to use, that includes Q&A time. So just, again, outline all of that, and also confirm what time zone you're on. So if you're setting a demo time, confirm the time zone and map out, the difference, so it's in your clock correct, or it's in your calendar correctly and on their calendar correctly. Make sure to ask questions. So if you don't see something during the demo, feel free to follow up afterwards and ask for any necessary supporting materials or product access, whatever it is you need. Ask for it and see if they're able to provide you with the additional information you need. Again, remember to take notes. That's super important. It just helps, jog your memory as you're going to record all of your scores. And make sure to complete your scores immediately if you can. And then be mindful of that all scores have to be in by that March 13th date. I will be reminding you throughout the process, but really circle that on your calendar, because that is a super important date. We only have a couple of days to get scores in beyond that, and then we need to announce the finalists. So please do let me know if you're running into problems with getting a demo. And then make sure to be as thorough as possible in providing ample feedback, in your judging form. So, and then that is the majority of the overview of the judging. It is a lot of information, but as you're in the form, you'll see that it really is pretty self-explanatory. So remember, I'm your resource and here to ask any questions. And with that, we've gotten to the Q&A portion. So this is all of my contact information. I am on West Coast time, so I will typically be online around 7 a.m. and don't take calls at all about that in any way. But you can always reach us on Twitter. Of course, follow the CODiE Award hashtags and all of that good stuff. And you can find any information you need on the CODiE Award website. We have a great judge portal that lists a lot of the questions and stuff like that there. We have a ton of resources. So do poke around there. And then I'll start to monitor some of the questions. So it says, here's one that says, we have a judge that says that they don't remember being asked which categories they're most comfortable judging. Yeah, I'm happy. So that would have been in your judge application. That's where you select your categories. Unfortunately, we don't have a way to view what you've put in there, especially right now because I'm in the process of doing the judge matching. But, if you specifically want me to take a look for you, I'm happy to. So I'll get back to this judge. And then same thing, I have another judge that asked, if they can look at what they put into their judge dashboard, and because we're in the matching stage, we can't pull that information publicly right now, but I can look at for you on my end. So just shoot me an email, and I'll take a peek for you. And if you haven't already, completed your judge application for this year, you still can. Like I said, I do accept the judge applications on a first-come basis, so there is a chance that, if you haven't already applied to be a judge this year, I likely will not be able to assign you products at this time, but there still is a chance for you to get products, in the next couple of weeks or month even. If judges drop out or there's conflicts of interest that arise. So do still submit your application. There's a question that asked if judges get a letter or certificate acknowledging your role as a judge, and the answer is yes. And we send that after the judging has concluded, because we can't obviously let people know that you're a judge during the judging process. But as soon as the scores are in, then yes, we'll send all the judges certificates, and then we'll show you how to add your judge experience to your LinkedIn profile. And then really we have, badges you can put on your email signature if you'd like to, and things like that too. So if there is something else that you would like us to, to add, to help acknowledge the judging, let me know, and we're more than happy to do what we can. So there's another question that asks if judges get a choice, or if they get to choose if they're going to judge a specific category or products besides the ones that they've been assigned. And the answer is we can't. If you get to choose your categories, you don't get to choose your products. So if there's a conflict with a specific product and you can't judge one, then that's, obviously let me know and I'll remove that product. But we won't say, here are all the products, you choose the ones you want to review. We need to be as fair and unbiased as possible. And yes, here's a good question, is if you can recuse yourself from judging any of the products, and the answer is absolutely. You can recuse yourself for any reason, and just let me know immediately so we can get that off your dashboard and reassign a different judge. So if you recuse yourself from a product, there's a good chance I won't have another one available because I will have already assigned all of the products, but there might be another opportunity that pops up for another assignment. Another question that came through is how many categories are assigned, and that is really that it varies. I try to have all the judges assigned to just one category. I think it's a lot cleaner that way. But as I mentioned before, there are some categories that are just really hard for us to find judges for because they're super technical or they're a very specific field. So if it's some of those, occasionally we'll have judges that will be well versed in a couple of those really hard to judge categories. So they might have two different categories that they're assigned. But I try and ask them before I make those assignments. Great question on this is how much time does judging take? And as I mentioned, judging will take about, each product assigned will take 1 hour because you'll be reviewing a demo. There is some, you might want to take some time in advance to just, again, familiarize yourself with the product background information. And then, of course, it'll take you 10 minutes or 10, 15 minutes to actually record your scores. So I like to say it'll take you 1 hour and 15 minutes per product that you're assigned. So if you're assigned 5, then let's just say that'll take 6 hours of time. So this is a good one. Do demos have to be live? They do not. We tell people to try to do a live demo if they can, but as I mentioned before, we have a lot of different time zones, a lot of different languages, and accessibility issues too that require a recorded demo. So don't rule out a recorded demo, and if you prefer a recorded for any of these reasons, let me know, and I'll work with the nominee to let them know that you would prefer, a recorded demo. So, the only thing with recorded demos is you don't have the opportunity for real-time questions, but you can always follow up after the fact and ask any questions that come up. So that is something to keep in mind. And then another one or another thing that came up is one of the judges asked what the ideal number of products is that a judge can take. So is there a limit of a maximum or a minimum? And we don't assign more than 5 products. It's too many in this short of a time frame. I think 3 is a great number, and you might have fewer than that. You might have up to 5, but usually 3 is about what I try and assign people, and that also will give me the opportunity to allow more judges to participate. So plan on having about 3 to 5 products to review. And then, so here's a good question. What happens if you miss a pre-scheduled demo? The biggest thing is, of course, to reach out as soon as you realize that to the nominee, and also feel free to copy me. I just like to be aware of these things because I often hear about them anyway, and it's not ideal because you have to go through the scheduling process again, but as long as you can get things scheduled and cleared up really quickly, it tends to not be a huge issue. So, again, just keep everyone as informed as possible. Things happen. And then this doesn't happen often, but occasionally nominees will want to send like a thank you gift or something like that, and we don't allow that. So we don't want any perceived conflicts at all. So if someone, asks or wants to send you something, just kindly say thanks, but no thanks. We're not allowed to accept gifts. And that is all let me just confirm. This is a great question. Is there a central repository of all participating products? And there isn't. That's a great question though. So we don't share all of the nominees with everyone just because oftentimes if people aren't selected as finalists, they don't want to be mentioned that they had participated and did not win or were not, considered finalists. So we don't have that. But, with that said, that's something we could perhaps consider, for judges in the future. So I'll look into that. And then As I mentioned, I will be, sending a copy of this recording and all of the slides after the fact. So if additional questions come up, then feel free to shoot me a note. So with that said, I think that that's everything. If you think of any additional questions, please do shoot me an email. It's listed here on the screen. Feel free to give me a call. This is my landline number, so you can get me a lot of the time there. And I look forward to working with all of you. So thanks again for all you do as CODiE Award judges, and I look forward to being in touch over the next few months. Take care, everyone. Bye.